Hey guys, it's Marissa at KitchenTableStamper.com. Today is video number 1 in a 3-part series. This is our Sweet Citrus Stamp-A-Stack class. I am so excited about this. I've had the Sweet Citrus stamp set and the dies with the hybrid embossing folder for a little while now. Maybe you have it too. This Sweet Citrus hybrid embossing folder and dies is the coolest tool, and we are going to have fun wrapping up summertime with a Sweet Citrus class. I hope you enjoy this Stamp-A-Stack. I wanted to take this class outside of kind of the typical. We're using some really bright, bold colors. We've got the Bright and Beautiful Designer Series paper. There is a class packet available while supplies last, KitchenTableStamper.com/shop. This is what it looks like. And you're going to get a half a spool of Parakeet Party metallic ribbon. You're going to get a full package of ephemera sequins. This is 100 pieces of iridescent sequins. You'll have plenty left over to play. A quarter package of the Bright and Beautiful Designer Series paper. I love this Designer Series paper. And then you get your card kits with all of the basic die cutting done for you. We don't die cut anything with the featured tools. So you'll do all of your Sweet Citrus die cutting, but we did the basic stuff for you. Scored your card bases, you get Stampin' Up! Envelopes, and then plenty of white cardstock. This is for doing your stamping and for lining the inside of these cards. So whether you just cut a 4 by 5 1/4 liner or you die cut some big shapes to line these, we wanted to give you enough cardstock to make sure that you could line the inside of these dark cards with cardstock that matches your envelope. So just little details about the Kitchen Table Stamper class packet that I think that you should know. And you also get the bubble bath cardstock for cutting all of your flowers. All right, so that's the optional class packet, and they're available while supplies last. This is part of a stamp camp. There is a coordinating stamp camp class with projects and fun fold cards. So check that out at KitchenTableStamper.com. I'll link you to all the details and to the product in the store while supplies last. All right, so this Stamp-A-Stack is a Wonder Recipe number 17 Stamp-A-Stack, and it's going to make these 6 cards from your choice of 3 sheets of Designer Series paper. So let me grab my class packet. Mine is well underway. As we go along, I'll give you some pointers on how to do these class packets in a Stamp-A-Stack style, like batch working. We're going to choose 3 sheets of our Designer Series paper. You can use any patterns of your choice. I'm going to stick pretty close to the ones that I chose originally because I know that they work. And let's get our first design here. All right, so we have the first 2 we're looking for. Let me show you what we're looking for. You're looking for the class packet that has the strip and the scallop. That's your first card here. Enjoy the sweeter things. All right. Oh, that's the magic of television. I like to do some of my repeats ahead of time. All right, so that's the packets that you're looking for. Grab those. Let me show you all the cards that this kit makes. All right, so our first design is Enjoy the Sweeter Things in Life, and this is going to make 2 of each design. All right, so there's the one we're working. Video number 2, I'll be back tomorrow with Sending You a Big Squeeze. And then in video number 3, I'll be back on Wednesday with Thanks a Bunch. All right, let's get our Designer Series paper cut. We're gonna cut this according to Wonder Recipe number 17. I'm gonna go with the similar patterns here. I'm just gonna switch out this multicolor one. So I'm gonna do this Berry Burst wash and then this Azure Afternoon wash, but this time we're going to go with great big polka dots and see how they turn out. You can mix and match your patterns, and that's the fun part, is that you personalize these Stamp-A-Stacks with the selections that you make. All right, we're going to cut these according to Wonder Recipe number 17. What is Wonder Recipe? Well, it is a 1-sheet Wonder cutting diagram. These are available to download in PDF form at kitchentablestamper.com. Just follow where it says project details here, and underneath the embedded video you'll be able to pick up this Wonder Recipe cutting diagram in PDF form, and you can print it off. There are 25 of these Wonder Recipes available at kitchentablestamper.com. So these printable resources are yours for free and the blog. All right, we're going to bring in our paper trimmer, and let's see here, there we go. And we can cut 2 of these at one time, so that's what we're going to do. I'm going to pop my paper into the trimmer here at 3 inches, and I'm going to cut these in half. So we're just going to cut these according to the Wonder Recipe. So we're going to put this 3x6 aside for just a second, and we're going to rotate this 3x6 and cut at 3 inches again. And then once we've got our 3 inches, we're going to pop them right into the grid. And then we're going to take this piece, cut it in half at 1.5. And pop that in the grid. Now we've got our 3x6 here of our designs. We're going to cut this in thirds. So we'll cut at 2 inches and then pop it in the grid. Cut again at 2 inches. And that is Wonder Recipe number 17. Now, same exact cutting for our polka dot piece. And we're going to cut and pop them in the grid. And there is our Wonder Recipe 17. I can't wait to see how these cards look with the polka dot papers. All right, so for this design, we're going to take these 1.5 by 3 inch pieces. We're going to use 1 of each on each copy of the card, and we'll just set aside the grid for the next cards. All right, now the next thing we're going to do is emboss our card base. I think that it's just a really cool layering of textures when we've got that embossing behind and then those designer series paper patterns. Then you layer up with the lemons that get that cool texture. This card is a sensory delight. So let's get our Night of Navy card bases and we'll get them embossed. One of the things that I recommend if you're doing kitchen table stamper Stamp-A-Stacks is that you batch work. So we're going to emboss one with the hybrid embossing folder, and at this stage, if you're doing your class packet, I suggest that you emboss all of your card bases. So you get 6 cards out of this kit, and I would do emboss all 6 right now. The hybrid folders are 3D folders, so we're going to start with 1, pop our card front into the folder. Now I do this technique a lot. I like the look of a completely embossed card front. This needs to be done with caution because as you are putting the folder through the machine, it's possible to scrape the fold against the machine, grate this fold off, and end up with a folder that is in 2 pieces and useless. So if this scares you, then you might want to take a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 Night of Navy cardstock, emboss that, and glue it to the front of the card. You'll get kind of a framed effect, which is beautiful, but with caution, this edge-to-edge embossing effect is really cool. So when you're doing this, line up your fold so that it is against the edge of the number 1 platform. You'll pop 4 up on top and make sure that the edges line up again. And then you'll make sure that there's plenty of clearance on the top and bottom along the edge of the machine here before you start cranking. Please do this with caution. And when we take this out, look at how awesome that is. The segments of oranges and the leaves edge to edge embossed. Let's glue our designer series paper now, layering those textures. So if we're doing a Stampin' stack, then we've embossed all of our card bases at this point. We've already cut all of our designer series paper. For the sake of demonstration, I will adhere the proper pieces in each video. But what I always suggest is if you're doing this Stampin' stack with us, then you might as well do all of your designer series paper. So you've embossed all of the card fronts, then you can glue all of your pieces and work in a batchwork fashion. We're gluing on designer series paper to a very deep embossed impression. So I like the liquid glue and I like to be pretty generous with it. All right, so let's just toggle these guys. I'm gonna go with the next to solid pieces on the outside and then the multicolor pattern piece on the inside. And you can do any pattern, 3 patterns you like, and any order that you like. And for our second copy, we'll do the same. You can mix it up if you like. That would be a fun one to use. You can use some with the stripe and some with the dot. Ooh, so many choices. This paper is gorgeous. It's hard to put the glue on the pretty side of this paper. I love that diagonal stripe. All right, so at this point, you have all of your card bases embossed and all of your designer series papers put down. So let's do some stamping. We're gonna make lemons in this design. So at this point, you're gonna take some of the basic white cardstock that you have in the kit. You're going to take 3 sheets and cut it for liners for your navy blue cards. So you wanna either cut them to 4 by 5 1/4 or get a nice large die cut and cut a liner for your cards from 3 sheets. Now we're using the scallop contours on this card design. We cut from Lemon Lolly this eyelet scallop edge. So these dies would be excellent for lining the inside of your card. You could very easily cut these 4 by 7/16 or 4 7/16 by 3 1/8 inch scalloped rectangles if you have this die set, or you can cut your liner. The deckled rectangles would work really good for this, or if you have the stitched rectangles, but you can just cut them on the paper trimmer if you like. So we've got the liners cut for all the cards. Feel free to stamp them and decorate them however you see fit. But now we're going to stamp our citrus. So you're gonna take 3 more sheets of white cardstock, half sheets here from the kit, and you're gonna cut this down like this. This is how you're gonna get all your citrus in the easiest fashion. All right, so you'll take this cardstock, it's 5 1/2. You're gonna cut it down to 4 1/4. This is where you'll stamp some of your leaves. Then you're gonna rotate this and cut this down to 3 1/2. And that's gonna be the perfect size to stamp your citrus, and then line it up inside of the hybrid folder to texture and cut your fruits. So you need 6 pieces that are 3 1/2 by 4 1/4. So let's cut this other one down to 3 1/2. And the cutoff piece is the perfect spot for stamping and die cutting your leaves. All right, so get your 6 pieces and your scraps for your lemons, and let's get stamping. Now, I'm gonna demonstrate the lemons in this video with the colors that I used and the technique. And then in video number 2, we'll make these either ruby red grapefruits, or blood oranges. And in video number 3, we'll make the limes. But if you're doing this Stamp-A-Stack, it's a very good idea to stamp and hybrid cut all of your citrus. All right, Sweet Citrus is a photopolymer stamp set. So I'm gonna grab my Stampin' Pierce mat. And one of these 3.5 by 4.25 inch pieces. I've got Daffodil Delight and Lemon Lolly. We're gonna start with the citrus peels. Now you want to keep in mind that your peels are going to have some little bits of texture in them, but you want to be careful when you're inking this stamp, especially over this solid little lemon in the corner. You want to make sure that you ink it well and get a good solid image. The last thing I like to do after I feel like I've got it well inked is just go over that lemon and make sure that the edge of the ink pad didn't make a line through your citrus, because you've got outlines here but then this big solid, and it's very easy to end up with that big solid with a streak right through the middle of it if your ink pad, the edge of your ink pad, goes across it. So ink this guy, ink the whole stamp, and then carefully ink this guy nice and solid. All right, and we're going to allow that to transfer. Look at our glorious citrus. Oh my. Now the inside for our lemons is Lemon Lolly. And we're gonna make sure we ink this up well. With a big stamp like this, I like to bring the ink pad to the stamp to make sure that we get good solid coverage. Now we'll line these guys up with a photopolymer. Makes it really easy, but just take your time. Give it a little twist and adjust until you got what you like, and then allow the ink to transfer. And there's our citrus. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. I love this stamp set. I hope that you're enjoying this bright color take on the citrus with the navy background for pop. A little surprising and hopefully refreshing. All right, now we're going to do 2 of those, one for each copy of the card, and by the magic of television I have one set done. Now we need our flowers, so let's set this aside for a second. And in the class packet you have some Bubble Bath cardstock. Now the Bubble Bath cardstock, we're going to stamp it with the Berry Burst ink to get some contrast here. And the Sweet Citrus dies have 2 each of the flowers and 2 each of the leaves. So keep that in mind and take advantage of that with every pass through the machine. You're going to do 2 for this copy, but by the magic of television, I already have my second set done. You need 3 flowers for each of the cards. So doing it Stamp-A-Stack style, you would do all of your stamping for all 6 cards at one time, and then do all of your die cutting as efficiently as possible too. So the outlines and the centers are 2 separate stamps, but I love the detail. I did them both in Berry Burst. This allows you to have a different color flower center if you like, which is pretty cool. All right, in your kit you have a strip. This is 1/2 by 3.25. We're going to stamp this Enjoy the Sweeter Things in Life with Night of Navy. Set that aside to let it dry. All right, each card needs 3 leaves. So 3 times 6 is 18. We're gonna do our Granny Apple green leaves. There are 2 dies in the set, so I will do 2 in this video, but my suggestion to you is to do all 18 at one time. So you do all your stamping and die cutting and then all of your assembly. And when you work these batch fashion, you will have more beautiful cards done with less fatiguing repeat actions. So it's really a good method for making cards with the Wonder Recipes and the batch work. I'm using Granny Apple Green for my leaves and making sure that I got a good solid coverage. And now we'll get our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and cut these out. Our machine is already set up to do the hybrid embossing folder with 1 and 4. So let's do that first. We're going to set up our citrus inside of the hybrid folder with the die this time. So what you want to do is open up your folder and place your die. Now here's the thing, it's not going to go in the wrong way, right? You could try, but it's not going to match. So don't worry, it's a very user-friendly system. Even if you haven't used it before, you can take the die and you're going to put it into the folder on the side that has that little Stampin' Up logo. So we're going to open the Stampin' Up logo is facing us, it's down. We can just drop the die in, and if you just rotate, it'll fall right into place. All right. So if you've never used one of these hybrid folders, this is a great one to check them out. This citrus will be fantastic for cards, but also for treats. There's lots of great lemon, lime, orange flavored treats that you could make. This is definitely the one to try if you haven't tried a hybrid folder yet, because you will get so much use out of this one, especially if you are a treat maker. All right, so I've got my little die inside the folder, and then what I'm going to do is just bring my paper underneath. You can see where it goes. Now at this point, you can put a little bit of low-tack tape on here or whatever you need. I find that it's pretty easy to just line it up, hold it, and then close the folder. See, I'm holding my paper in place with my right hand. My left hand is just going to pinch it in place and then pull out. Drop that on to number 1, pop number 4 over the top. Now the magic happens. It's going to cut out those lemons and the slices, all of it, but it's also going to emboss the coolest texture onto the rind. You're going to get kind of a orange peel texture, and onto the fruit itself, you're going to get that segmented texture like real citrus fruit. It's pretty amazing. All right, so there's our citrus. We're going to remove the die, and we're going to remove the outside. Now, of course, you could keep this little embossed frame piece. You could pop the fruit back in on dimensionals and use this as a background layer. So you could use this to maybe stencil. It's got this cool continuation of the embossing pattern. So think about if that's something that you'd like to hold on to. Now look at each of these pieces. Can you see that amazing texture, the pulp texture in the fruit? And I think the camera's picking it up pretty good, the little orange peel texture on the rind. I love this hybrid. Okay, so let's get our next stage of die cutting. We're gonna have to go back to our standard die cutting sandwich. So we've got 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to cut our leaves and our flowers, and you can be cutting 2 sets of flowers and 2 leaves in every pass, and that will make this Stamp-A-Stack really speedy. All right, there's our dies all lined up. Let's give them a crank. Our leaves and flowers. Adorable. I love these little flowers. They're such a cute embellishment. bring our sample back in here and build our greeting. So we've got those 2 lemon lolly scallops. We're going to add some liquid glue right across the top center. Stay away from that little eyelet, then you won't get oozing glue. We're going to put it to the right of center and just glue your sentiment. Slide that aside and let those have a second to dry. Let the adhesive grab. Now we're going to do our cards. Let's take this full round slice of citrus. We're going to place that to kind of anchor our design on each card. Then we're going to add the full lemon and the half lemon. We're going to do those with dimensionals. And my suggestion is to keep the dimensionals kind of to the center of your fruit here so that you have plenty of space to tuck the leaves in underneath. We've got our half slices and our full lemon. Now we can take some half dimensionals here. And our greeting is going to overlap our fruit that's on dimensionals. So what I like to do is just add a couple of half dimensionals where in between the 2-dimensional fruit. You can peel and stick. And you want to leave this end of the greeting loose so you can tuck your bow under. All right, so there's our greetings. And now the leaves and flowers. I'm going to add some liquid glue to the back of the leaf. Got a lot there, so I'm just going to share between these two. Tuck them in, arrange them nicely so that they stay within the bound of the card. And then over here, our third leaf. Repeat for the second card. I'm going to put my flowers on with dimensionals, so half on the bigger one is perfect. And then we'll do minis on the small flowers. We're going to add our flowers, making a pretty visual triangle. Don't you love how that pop of pink just brings everything to life? Next up, our ribbon. We've got this really cool, it's kind of wild, metallic ribbon, the parakeet party. I think it just adds such an interesting dimension to this card. So I'm gonna clean off the edge. It does like to fray and ravel just a little bit. You just got to embrace it for what it is. The metallic element, the skinny little ribbon, the easy tying bow, the super flat for mailing. It has some great things going for it, but it definitely does ravel a little bit. So just keep that in mind and enjoy it for what it is, all the positive things about it. And I think you'll have fun with this. The other thing is it's parakeet party technically, but it looks great with granny apple green. It looks great with old olive. It really is kind of a chameleon of green ribbon. I hope that you enjoy playing with it. You get a half a spool in the class packet so you can see it for real. This metallic ribbon is available in 5 colors, the in colors, and the coordinating Stamp Camp packet I'll show you those projects at the end of the video, features the Starry Sky metallic ribbon. So you'll get to try both if you're doing the entire stamp camp and you do the packets. All right, so here is our gorgeous bows. We're gonna add them to some glue dots, and then we'll slide them right under the edge where we left our greeting kind of loose. Just pop that in there. So pretty. I love, look at the difference between the two cards with and without that parakeet party ribbon. It does bring an extra special element of texture and color. The metallic is pretty wild, so definitely adds a little something special to this project. Our last step is a little bit of bling. You have this 100 iridescent sequins here, and we're going to use 6 on each card because you are going to have so plenty of these sequins, and they are so versatile. You will use them for anything after this class is done. So extra to play with is really nice of something so versatile. I'm going to do 3 kind of on this upper right corner, and then I'm going to put 3 a little bit left of center, and then kind of moving to the left. So it's kind of a diagonal spray across the card. We'll do the same for this one. And that is design number 1 in the Sweet Citrus Stamp-A-Stack class. Now you might have noticed that you're left with 2 little lemon slices from your run through the embossing folder. Use those to decorate the inside of your card. And if you've got any questions about the project, you can email Marisa at kitchentablestamper.com. To shop Stampin' Up! 24/7, buzz over to marisaalvarez.stampinup.net. And for class packets, while supplies last, you can buzz over to kitchentablestamper.com/shop and see what we have available for the Stamp-A-Stack. Now I've mentioned the Stamp Camp, so let me show you a quick sneak peek of those projects. The Stamp Camp will not be available on the blog. It is an online only class for $25, and there is an option for a class packet while supplies last. If you've got any questions, you can email me. This is the Stamp Camp. You're going to make this game pocket with the citrus tic-tac-toe game. The game is included if you get the class packet. We got a flip flat fun fold card, and the instructions for this are available in the Kitchen Table Stamper store. You can buy the Stamp Camp with or without the packet while supplies last. We got our lemon crate gatefold card, and that's so cute. It matches our game pocket. And then we have our lemonade treat box, and we include the lemonade for you. It's a picture pack of Crystal Light. This box was designed for that. This box will be an excellent for your arsenal of designs, because with all the fun picture pack flavors that Crystal Light comes in, you'll use this box again and again and again. And then we've got an easy step card also. All right, you guys, if you've got any questions about the Stamp-A-Stack, about the coordinating stamp camp, if there's anything I can do to help you stay crafty, email Marisa at kitchentablestamper.com. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video.